I'm gonna get it together. I'm just being in love. 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 When I met you, I didn't care about love. Didn't think that I would ever fall in love. Didn't know that we were so compatible. Simple, letting go. Oh, what a linger on the edge of our love. A metal line that tears apart, it tears apart. No, they don't know what it takes to be in love. They don't know what it takes to be in love. They don't know what it takes to be in love. Oh, we both know what it takes. We both know what it takes to be in love. They don't know what it takes. They don't know what it takes to be in love. They don't know what it takes to be in love. Oh, we both know what it takes. We both know what it takes to be in love. We gon' be in love. This is something I can't control it. How you feeling? I just can't call it. I just know how I feel inside. I got love on my mind. You know that I just adore you, and you know that I'll come before you. I just know how you feel inside. I got love on my mind. I'm just being in love. 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 Happy Sunday, y'all. How's everybody doing today? I just want to give a shout out to everyone who shows up every Sunday faithfully to join the live show so you can live chat with me. And I don't know, it just really means something special to me. So, in the vein of continuing on with Black History Month, we have a very special guest today. He's about the people. He's for the people. I say he is the people. We'll get there in a minute. Young Nelly, how you doing? Haven't seen you here before, but thank you for joining us today. Let's see. I want to talk about. I don't know what I want to talk about. I have a lot of stuff for you. So let's just go ahead and get to the guest, okay? I'm not even going to waste any more time. We have T. Walker joining us today.
What's happening?
How are you doing?
I'm all good. How about yourself?
I am doing well. First of all, tell us a little bit about who you are.
Whew, all right, man. I'm gonna shorten up this list, but I'm an artist. I'm an educator. I'm a father. I'm a brother. Son. Um, I'm a lot of different things, man. I'm for the people. I'm a activist. Um, I'm a advocate. I'm a lot of different things. For myself, for young people, for the community, for artists. I encapsulate a lot of different things, so that's me, T Walker, a long list that I'm create that little summary, and we'll get to the rest of it.
Yeah, sounds good. Hey, Scum TV, how are you doing today? And hey, Kay, good to see you. Kay in the house. All right, so I had the privilege of meeting you during actually some community organizing that I was taking part in community organizing and family issues. I talk about it all the time. And our good sister Amber brought you in for the holistic hustle portion,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Which was really teaching parents entrepreneurship, how to really blow up, how to link in your community, how to network. So, we had an opportunity to learn about soliloquies, and y'all, I'm not going to put words on it. Tell us about soliloquies, and then we're going to run a clip.
Yeah, so soliloquies, stories of underground legends. It's an art um exhibition experience that I curated about 3 years ago. Um, exactly 3 years ago. I have an album series called Strictly for My Niggas, Negus. So I did the first one. Also did Act Two, which was USA, United States of Affliction. And then I had Soliloquies because me and my brother's organization is Soul Society, Support, Opportunity, Unity, Leadership. So I intend to keep the soul in everything. So I wanted to name it Soliloquies, but I felt like this was a moment where a lot of people were trying to figure out the deeper, things about who I was. They could see who I was on surface. They got to experience me as an artist on stage or see me work with their kids and things of that nature. So it was just a lot of questions. So I felt like one grand way that I could tell this story was to put it in an album. But I felt like there were so many different things that I was learning about my family that literally like led to the person that people were seeing at that moment and who people would then also see in the future, that I was like, you know what? I'm gonna talk about the things that I've learned about my grandparents, the things that they went through, the things that made them great, certain cycles that I have to break, at the same time. And I wanted to put it into an album. I was in the middle of a tour. Well, I guess I was like near the end of the tour, and I was planning on gearing up to record that album. Then the pandemic happened. Um, and I wasn't really in a space to create that album anymore. I wanted to create music, that music for the people. I wanted to spill my emotions, in one of the best ways I know how to, which was artistically and creatively. Um, so I created another album for the record, but I still felt led to give people these pieces of me and this experience. There's a gallery, in North Carolina, in Greensboro, North Carolina, the CVA, that I worked out of, frequently and had developed a relationship. So I pitched the idea of doing soliloquies. They instantly bought into it and loved it. So I just also then expanded that beyond myself and invited some of my other friends to join in. So soliloquy, stories of underground legends, there's a artistic exhibition and experience that highlights legendary or historical figures. And it doesn't have to be the ones that we know that we've seen documentaries about or that there are books already out about. It could be about your grandmother. It could be about that dentist, in your neighborhood that inspired you to then become a dentist. Those people within your proximity that influenced you as well. I feel like people don't speak about those particular people enough, So I was like, let's do this in form of an art gallery. But I wanted to combine the visual arts and poetry and music all in one. And my first ever mixtape was called I Am Technology because of the way that like I utilized or I felt connected with technology. So I then wanted to make sure this was an advanced experience. So I had poets write about the pieces, and then I uploaded those and connected them to QR codes so that people could enter the gallery, scan the QR codes, and hear poems, stories, songs that were in connection to the pieces. Um, to make it a grander experience, but also knew like we were in the middle of a pandemic, so people also wanted to maintain that 6 feet of space. So I
Mm.
figured while a person was sitting here listening to this story, somebody else could be 6 to however many feet they would be away, also listening to listening to stories, and everybody could have a grand experience without trying to. bump into each other and stuff like that. So soliloquies. This is the third annual one we got going on right now, and the experience is growing for sure.
Let me tell you something, y'all, okay? Because when he first explained that concept to the group, I was thinking those silent parties at the club where everybody's hearing a different song in their headphones. Everybody's just dancing crazy. But when I got there, I was so blown away. Just the different art mediums all in the same space. You had this amazing painting, right? And then you scan it and you're listening to music or a spoken word that this artist has done, and you're just like submerged in the experience. So, the first thing we're going to do is show the clip of soliloquies. But before we do, excuse me, he made a statement about finding out who your grandparents are
Hmm.
and kind of, telling the story from there. Can you tell me just real quickly a little bit about who your grandparents are and what your ancestry has meant in your work?
Yeah, so I've had the beautiful experience of experiencing all four of my grandparents. And three of them are still living. So I still get an opportunity to build and connect with them, and learn more about them as I learn more about myself. But my grandmother, who is a pastor, I mean, she's retired, but she still, that's her gift. And she hasn't stopped using her gift, so now she has a podcast with over 100 episodes, detailing the stories of her life. And one of the things that I love about that is sometimes when people retire from those original passions, then they don't know what to do. Yet she found another lane, to use another part of her gift, which is storytelling, which is a gift that I have, and that I share with people. So that's just one of those major things. But she also tells me so many different stories about her life that I get to understand her even more, even though I've known her for the 34 years of my existence.
Yeah.
Um, but I still get to understand more of my lineage and who I am. Um, my grandfather, both of my grandfathers were entrepreneurs. They both experienced a lot of different things as black men, working in different spaces. So my grandfather, Papa, was in the military, but he also, once he left the military, he came back to his community to help build, fix, and uplift the community. There's a community center there now that's named after him. And one of the amazing stories about him is like in the process of getting that community center developed, it was so many people that didn't believe that it could happen. But he ain't let that stop him. He also knew he was very connected, with people. So he went and tapped in with his people and his resources, and was able to pull together at least half of the funds that was needed, which then made everybody else believe that, like, you see what I did by myself? Can y'all please get y'all ass over here and let's make this happen? So that type of energy is what was needed. But him being so about the community and his people, that's another thing, you can see that I have.
Yeah.
So my other grandfather, who's an entrepreneur, his stories about business and the things that he experienced in the business have always been of a major influence to me, because I also have taken on those business things. Um, some of it just genetically flowing through me, some of it because of the stories that I heard from him. But I also got to understand like who he was as a person, experiencing being a black man working in corporate America, where you are surrounded by everybody that doesn't look like you, and the
Yeah.
different things like that you experience, that anger, what I mean, that sometimes that you can't even express there, but you bring home, and some of those things that you are just trying to still figure out and learn about yourself. Nonetheless, he overcame so many of those different things to be at the top of that business, to also then realize like there's a ceiling that I need to break and I can't do it here. So I need to leave. I need to fire y'all, and then, go do my own thing.
Yeah.
And then my grandmother, phenomenal cook. And she speaks her mind, so whatever come to mind, whether you like it good, bad, ugly, it's all with good intention, but she's gonna spit it, but she's also a person that when she worked at a job, she worked in a housing authority. And so I'll make this story quick. There was a family that was looking for a home, and they didn't have anywhere for them to go. And so they were literally like just trying to find somewhere to go. And she told that family, if y'all can't find anywhere, come back here by the end of the day. But she let all those other people in that office have it. Y'all call yourselves Christians. Y'all got these big houses with all these extra rooms in there, and y'all can't let these people have at least one or two of these rooms. They need somewhere to go. These are black people that look like us. Um, and they didn't do anything about it. Nonetheless, she packed that family up and brought them to her home, and fed them and gave them somewhere to stay. So these are all of the things that's within me, and as I continue to learn about these stories from about my grandparents, and about their parents, I understand, even more my direction.
Yeah, yeah. One thing I learned about us as a people, not because we're a monolith, right? But the
Hmm.
more we find out about who we are and where we come from, the more powerful we become just with that knowing. Um, you have mentioned business ventures, right?
Hmm.
And one thing I recall about going to soliloquies, well, first of all, Jim, can we go ahead and play the clip of the soliloquies event? You'll see him getting ready and hanging art
Hmm.
and things like that. Not the other one.
This is
Whoever
tea
wants
sipping tea.
to. Well, what I'm gonna mention, you'll see in the video is it's my first time ever seeing a bottle of water on a pedestal. I'm
Hmm.
like, what? That looks like some quirky mess I'll do at home, but it was live alkaline water,
Hmm.
and
The best
Lord,
hydration in the nation.
yes. Got my live alkaline water. I love this stuff. First of all, it's not stuff. This is life right here in the bottle. But while he's preparing that clip, can you tell us a little bit about the live alkaline water?
Yeah, and I'll also tell you why I put it on that pedestal, because while we were telling the stories of underground legends, just the story of live alkaline water is a legendary story in itself. So the land where the water comes from is a black indigenous property, um, that has stood the test of time. You know, this all of this land wasn't able to totally be snatched away. Some of it was, and some of it there was a fight to get this land back as well. Whether it was administrative type fight, and then in other senses there was physical forms of it. Nonetheless, I wanted people to know about this water, because I want people to know what they're putting in their body. People don't question Deer Park or Dasani, um, or Aquafina, anybody else in the way that we've received some questions. And I ain't tripping, because every time people ask questions, then that just means I got to give them answers. And I've grown up working in sales. So cool. If you want to put me to the test, then I'm gonna give you that. But live alkaline water, the reason why we say it's the best hydration in the nation, because it comes from a mineral based crystal body of land. So the minerals in the water is 100% natural. The pH is balanced naturally. So we call it live because it's coming from a living source. There is no man made manipulation, to make this water great water. You know what I mean? God brought it, God did. So, now we got it bottled and we giving it to the people. We kind of, water disciples, at this point, making sure we get people, this good water. Um, and BPA free plastic bottles, but we also have glass options as well.
Yeah.
And I like people to know that they got options. E40 said everybody got choices. So yeah, I just dropped that out for people. I like using my rap lyrics as scripture sometimes as well, just so y'all know that.
I
So
do
that
the
was from
same
the
thing.
book of E40. For
Listen, as an artist, you kind of got to do it, right?
sure that.
So I think we'll have the clip up shortly, but you had mentioned working with children. Can you
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about your work with children?
Yeah. So even me, me moving back home. Um, Me and my brother, we had been having conversations about, different things we wanted to do community wise. Of course, we had that natural influence of our family,
Mhm.
with everything they do community wise, whether it's spiritually, whether it's physically. Um, and unfortunately, we had one of our friends, get killed, back home. And it was just a crazy um rise in crime, happening in our hometown. So instead of talking about what needed to be done, we focused on what we can do in the immediate moment. So we created Soul Society,
Right.
which is about community empowerment and youth mentoring through the arts. And my aunt, his mom, was constantly like telling me that I needed to be a teacher, and I just couldn't see myself in that position because I knew that I would be kind of rebellious to the ways that they wanted me to work within a system. So
Right.
one of the ways that we just started to enter into schools and do different mentoring things. And I started at the elementary school that I went to. Um, Going in there helping them with plays. So I helped them with the Jungle Book, with Lion King, and just being around, young people and being of influence by simply being a presence. And a lot of these young people, a lot of the kids in that school, like some of my friends, those were their children, or some of their parents, I knew their parents. So it was a different type of way to be able to connect because I could talk to their mom or their dad about them, or I could let them know I know your parents,
Mm-hmm.
so there was a different type of synergy and connection there. But then, like, just growing, in this thing that we were doing, my friends are also teachers and educators. So then I would just find myself being in their schools, working with their students, either helping them with homework or being there to have like just a conversation with them. And you'll get, I mean, I got put in a position that felt awkward, but I understood the divinity of it later.
Right.
Whereas I just had a young kid asking me if I could be his dad. And of course, I didn't know how to respond because I couldn't be like, no. So instead, I just began to have like a conversation with him about like the type of things that he was looking for, and if he knew his dad and things of that. So we began that conversation. So I didn't have to give a yes or no. Looking in retrospect, I'm a father to many children, you know what I mean? Because they are looking for influence. They are looking for somebody to have impact in their lives. So it wasn't a matter of yes or no. It was just a matter of being in position to be of influence, So, and I like that because as an artist, I understand how important it is to express and get things out of you, you know what I mean, before you internalize them. So that was one of the things that I focus on very heavily when it comes to working with young people. And I do that now. I'm in 3 schools every day. I mean, every week doing a writing program with them, giving them topics to write about, but then also discussing with them the importance of the topics or just expression or connecting with people within proximity of them. They don't know if, some of their friends gonna be future presidents or NBA players or plumbers or whatever the case may be. Develop your network because you don't know what it's gonna be about. And they need these tools early because they know raunchy and explicit lyrics, at a very young age. They seeing murders and robberies and all type of haunting things, in their communities at a very young age. So they can absorb all of this stuff that people feel like they can't at a young age too. So I'm grateful to be in position to be able to pour that into them.
And they're blessed to have you. And this is why I say you are the people. So the masses are who make the change, but it's people like you among the masses that cause it to happen.
For sure.
So that clip is ready of soliloquies. We're going to watch that real quick. It's not playing, but that's okay because technical difficulties do happen.
True that.
So while we're waiting, I'm going to play a little music of my own because
Let's get it.
I think it's fitting, okay?
For sure.
The revolution. The revolution. Revolution will not be televised, so just look me in my eyes and promise you'll be at the front line. Revolution will not be televised, it will not be compromised, so promise you'll be at the front line. Revolution will not be compromised, so just look me in my eyes.
The clip is ready.
God did.
Look at
But they didn't feel delivered because they could still see Pharaoh coming behind them. You know, how many people right now are stopping and are not going forward because of stuff that's happening behind you? That God has put nothing in front of you that's messing you up, but it's some stuff that's behind you. That's causing you to stop.
You ever knew what it was? Look, I got fire and desire. I got pain and I got passion. I got lighters and I got matches. I got an energy that's worth matching. I seen life and I seen death. I seen a baby's first steps. I seen a mama lose her baby and that effect upon her health. I know some killers fearing karma, forced to flee like Dalai Lama. I had to deal with all my trauma. I think that shit made me much calmer. But I got moves that's alarming. I'm a lover and a charmer. I'm daily chasing peace. I used to sometimes feel haunted. You see, my mother and my father created me out of love. There's some stories in my life that may never be told. I got dreams that can't be sold. I need bread that doesn't mold. I got a speak so bold. I got gold in my soul. I'ma gold out my bottoms. I'ma always keep it blunt. I hate repeating myself, so I'ma say this shit once. If you ever got a problem, better say it to my front. Cause if you speak behind my back, you'll feel the opposite of my love.
One of the things that God would say, he would say, tell them fear not, because fear will hinder the move of God. And when fear can hinder the move of God, it will keep you from seeing the move of God. Let me tell you something. God wants to deliver us, but God wants us to be not just a spectator, but a partaker and a participant.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You had a few artists in there that I've seen a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
One of whom is no longer with us, but I would love to hear you talk about some of the folks that you featured.
Yeah, so I'll start with my brother Main Man. Um, First off, so that was a clip from the first soliloquies, and when I interviewed him during that soliloquies, I always do artist talks, and he's the first artist or just any artist that I've interviewed that did a live painting while we were talking. That was the dopest interview. But Main always gives off dope energy.
Maine was
Um,
different.
yeah, he was just different, you know what I mean? And I would be like, yo, is there another Main somewhere charging up, or something? Because like, how many events are you gonna make it to in a day? You know what I mean? He was one of those people that like, if I had something going on, he gonna pop up. Our brother LB might be getting an award somewhere, and he gonna pop up there and still go to his event. Um, but his lady Tamika was featured in this exhibit. Um, Very phenomenal person. It's beautiful, watching her continue to blossom as a person and as an artist. Sometimes she's still very like quiet and shy, but like you get to see all of these other beautiful pieces of her personality. And I think art helps us to like unlayer, sometimes, because we can be in our solitude, but then there's these other intricate things about us that people just don't know until they experience us, or until they have to ask us questions about like, where did this come from? For example, some of the pieces that she has up in the soliloquies now, she created a 20-piece series, but she did 11 of those pieces all in the month of January of last year. And it's like, with all of the detail, excuse me, with all of the detail and things, it's like to be able to lock in that type of zone as a creative and artist, but to also come from a place of hurt and being able to use your gift and your craft as a space of therapy is beautiful as well. My guy Carlos Parks is a part of this exhibit. One of my favorite artists. His detail, I mean, he did this crazy Wu-Tang piece that's up in the exhibit, and I'm pointing at it like it's behind me or something.
Yeah.
But man, I mean, the way he gets like the cracks in people's lips and certain things in people's eyes, like he captures the embodiment of a person in his artwork. Um Raspberry, who was a part of this exhibit, first time displaying some of her work. She also helped me to hang, the work in the exhibit. The first 2 years I did it, I was like by myself, which was, I don't mind that. I was in there getting my visions off and figuring out how to place things, but it was cool to co-curate, with somebody this time and, just share a vision, and bringing this to life. There was a brother elder by the name of Gladys Hines Jr., who his daughter is actually archiving his work right now. She's in charge of making sure people experience his work. He had a stroke. He isn't able to use his dominant hand to like paint anymore. But just his story about how like she grew up in such an artistic experience, but also like learning about him, things that he experienced in the Jim Crow era, so many different things, about an artist, that you can learn through their work through having conversation. um Ayaba, who's was in the second and this third one, as well. I love the way like she has such colorful and vibrant works, which is a testament to like where she come from. She's a Caribbean, artist. My brother Damian Mathis, his work is off that. So that Harriet Tubman piece that y'all saw at the very beginning,
And
that was an 8-foot piece. That I intentionally in the first soliloquies, I had these movable walls. So I moved everything to the front so people literally couldn't look through the window and see the exhibit. They had to step in. But also there's this huge piece of Harriet Tubman, and I just felt like stories of underground legends, Underground Railroad, it worked so beautiful. But there were so many different things that he puts into his pieces that you literally have to experience it. And then he like puts these frames around them, which is a way of breaking out of the box or busting out of the frames. Um, Ugly Youth Art, she has this Basquiat-esque type of style, her own style. But I mean, of course, I know off top, that's what people are going to like make comparisons to. Um, Duchess, from Black Ink, she had some work, in the exhibit. Kim Cooper, who is a good friend of mine, who is also a teacher, who I actually, did a residency at her school and was in her school often connecting with her students and had to flip on them, a time or two, but they needed that energy. Um, Trying to make sure I'm not overlooking anybody. Dr. Howe, who he creates he's created his own universe, combining hip hop or those in hip hop, or people just from our culture with Marvel heroes,
yeah.
and combining them with like, I guess, a use of what their superpowers are or would be.
Hmm.
I'm trying to make sure I'm not leaving anybody out because I had 16 artists featured in this exhibit.
Wow.
My guy Clarity had a piece in this exhibit. I could look at this list, but now anybody I left out, they know it's all love, yeah, and I appreciate all of the poets that came by this year. Instead of having people submit audio, I did a workshop, where people wrote the pieces on spot and then recorded them on the spot as well. So I appreciated that. My guy Juma Campbell from Copper Vibrations, yeah, that's always, him and his wife. I love, sitting and chopping it up with them. They're full of a wealth of knowledge, whether it's just about relationships or about business,
Yeah.
period. So yeah. Oh, Makai the artiste, he's a part of. So we have something coming up in August called the Carolina Artist Mixer. Um, and I'm trying to figure out how much of the details I can give away. Nonetheless, if y'all were at the Carolina Artist Mixer last year and got a chance to experience it, then it was a beautiful experience of networking and connecting with other artists. And it's really bringing in artists outside of North Carolina. This just so happens to be in Carolina, so it's the Carolina Artist Mixer. But we had live performances. We had visual artists who had an opportunity to hang their work and get it seen and really just be able to network. It was a beautiful networking experience. This year, it's at a whole nother level. So Young Nelly, he's one of those curators. I believe Tasia is in here. She's one of those curators of this experience. And
What's
when I tell you, what you say?
Sorry to interrupt you. What's the opening day for the event in August?
So August 19th.
Okay.
Saturday, August 19th, and anybody that's interested, please tap in. We have a Kickstarter right now. So if you go to the Carolina Artist Mixer on Instagram, we have a Kickstarter right now where if anybody wants to contribute to that experience financially, please do. Because our goal, and one of the things, like I said at the beginning, I'm an advocate, and I'm an advocate for artists getting paid for the things that they do.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's through sales of tickets. Sometimes it's really like reaching out to people within proximity and within our community to help us fund, these type of things. My goal is to really like be able to keep these experience free or as low of a cost as possible. That way, those that want to experience things don't have to worry about the economics of it, or the cost of a ticket, especially young people who need to be around this influence. So one of the ways that we can grow this is if people, pour into it, and we're asking very specifically for financial, you know, for financial assistance. And that's what everything that we have going on. Soliloquies, every experience that people got to come to was free. The art gallery, the artist talks, everything except for the poetry show that we're doing at the end. But yeah. Those are, some of the, oh yeah, Alex Figueroa was also another one of those artists that was in soliloquies. I'm trying to make sure, I throw everybody's name out there.
Yeah, you
But I
got it.
think I got
Thank you.
everybody. And oh yeah, Danielle the artist. And I ain't looking at the paper. I kind of like have a visual of the gallery. So I'm just kind of like looking at people's work in my head right now and making sure I, drop them names. But I think that's everybody.
Yeah. Like, my mom says Life the Legend incarnated. I love his energy and she'll
Mm,
support this endeavor. Life the Legend is my brother. He's no longer with us, also an
mm.
artist and a visionary. So I'm kind of co signing with my mom on that
I
one.
received that.
So before we go on, I just want you to tell us a little bit about this bucket you have
Oh
on
man, okay.
and a little bit about the shirt you're rocking. Because, yeah.
Yeah, so this fly jersey, hold on, if y'all need to see that, if y'all need to know what name is on the back, that's
Right.
Marcus Garvey. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um, it's a brother in Atlanta, so he has a clothing company called Athletics. And he basically, said he grew up loving jerseys and stuff like that, but as he, began to develop more knowledge of self, and gain information, he wanted to make super dope jerseys and things like that about the culture. So he has a Black Panther one. He has Marcus Garvey, as you can see, Queen and Zinga. A lot. I mean, and another thing that I love about it is somebody might ask me questions about the jersey, so I get to also extend telling that story. Um,
Yeah.
it's a Black woman whose name I'm trying to remember in my head right now, and I always know it, and I can't believe right now I'm forgetting it. Nonetheless, she's in Atlanta. She has super dope buckets and all type of scarves and hair wraps. This is another one that I bought from her. You know, um,
All right.
and I was at a Atlanta arts experience, while I was out there, and I saw her, set up, and I was like, I like bucket hats. My guy Main man would have bought that bucket hat.
I
So
would have bought that bucket
I
hat.
caught I
Rest in
caught
peace,
this
man.
one first, but as I spun the block and I came back to the table, I was like, you know what? Somebody gonna get this other one if I don't, and it was the last one. So I went ahead and purchased that. Um, Dang, I really want to, shout her out though. So I'm gonna find one of these photos where I got her tagged and shout her out because I know y'all want to get one of these as well. Um, but yeah, I think one of the beautiful things about our culture is we create what it is to be fly, and people steal that from us all the time. So like
Yeah.
we can be woke and we can be jiggy at the same time. We can be conscious and be fly at the same time. And
Yeah.
I love that I get to be that, and people get to
Yeah.
see that, from me, at the same time. So did I find her yet? Nope. But yeah,
Well,
y'all
while
go
you're
follow
looking,
Athletics, on Instagram, and cop some gear from them.
it's AFLETICS.
AFR underscore like Africa, AFR underscore Letics.
Gotcha. Thank you. Um, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in the chat real quick and also follow. And I just want to ask, is your bucket, it's made out of mud cloth?
So this one is not made out of mud cloth. She does have some that are like that, but this one was made out of like one of the fabrics.
That's really nice. And that other bucket reminds me of a shirt I made for someone, but neither here nor there.
Yeah, nah, she got
We're
she
gonna
got
go
some really
ahead.
fly stuff though, man. Like, y'all go check her out, man. I love supporting my people. You know, um,
Yeah.
I love the fact that right now, if you go in my closet, at least 80% of it, my clothes are gonna be stuff that I've created or stuff that my friends, have created as well. Or even people that I don't even know. I just thought it was fly and I purchased it. So yeah, I encourage people to continue to do that same thing. I ain't gonna talk about it. I'm
Okay.
gonna walk it.
See, that's what we love to see. In that same vein, once again, we're gonna play a video of yours.
Okay.
The song "Float" is the first video of yours that I ever saw.
Okay.
And yeah, so like y'all got to see it. They're all in the trees and in the water. I just, I felt
I found her
reconnected.
name. I want to let y'all know before I forget it. So it's
What is it?
Virtuous Queen. Virtuous Queen dot shop. That's her Instagram. Virtuous Queen dot shop. So yeah, go get y'all some.
Okay, and my mom and several others have asked about the alkaline water. So where can they find the live alkaline water?
Yeah. So if y'all are on Instagram, it's Live Alkaline NC. And then you can
Mhm.
also head to the website heavyenergyuniversity.com. And if you hit that Live Alkaline tab, everything's a go. And if you have any issues, just hit me up, and I'll definitely, be able to get you right.
Heavyenergyuniversity.com.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or the Ice Cube.
Okay. Funny. All right. So yeah, we're gonna get that video going because it made me feel really grounded and reconnected just seeing it happen
Mm.
and just knowing how I love to be on the riverbanks. So yeah, y'all enjoy this one.
Imagine yourself floating to the highest elevation, lighting up your windshield because you're grounded. It's just different. Floating higher, elevated.
Live and direct from the middle of the world, a whirlwind. We win still. We win still. Damn right I float. I ain't no joke, I'm rockin' with the flow. They can drown in the flow, they been drawn to the current. Better get you a boat. I'm going to this ship, I'm sure for sure. I've been lost but had to find myself. I'm just a prophet, but I need wealth. I'm more than a man, just being myself. But most prophets gon' still need help. Shit, you can ask Moses. He had to double back for the knowledge. I be breaking down scripture like Anja, the promised land on the other side of your blinder. But some don't wanna remove them lenses. Some don't wanna climb that mountain. The fountain of youth all in my semen. I'm procreative ever since I found her. Queen, I mean a goddess. You hear me? Damn right I float, damn right I'm go, huh? Yeah, damn right I float, damn right I'm go, huh? Yeah, damn right I float, damn right I'm go, huh? Yeah. Damn right I float. I ain't no joke, I'm rockin' with the flow. They can drown in the flow, they been drawn to the current. Better get you a boat. I'm going to the ship, I'm sure, for sure. I've been lost, but had to find myself. I'm a prophet, but I need wealth. I'm more than a man, just being myself. But most prophets gon' still need help. Shit, ask my father and my mother, they had to help me. I was searching for love in the highs and the lows, but then I fell in love with the beats. I was trying to sound so perfect. I was like, look at me, but they started using me as a mirror, cause we are reflections. That's way too deep. That ain't way too deep. I swam with the sharks and I ran with the lions, contemplating suicide, but listen close. I had to kill things about myself. I crossed that out and then I rose. I come from the east with a word. Watch how I walk on flows. Some don't really wanna hear that there. Get to know me or leave me alone. Damn right I flow. Damn right I float, damn right I'm go, huh? Yeah, damn right I float, damn right I'm go, huh? Yeah, damn right I float, damn right I'm go, huh? Yeah, look. Damn right I float. I ain't no joke, I'm rockin' with the flow. They can drown in the flow. They been drawn to the current. Better get you a boat. I'm going to this ship, I'm sure for sure. I've been lost, but had to find myself. I'm just a prophet, but I need wealth. I'm more than a man, just being myself. But most prophets gon' still need help. Shit, you can ask.
Welcome back.
Amen.
I love you.
And I
I
share.
like you. Always and always. Namaste.
Amen and Ashe.
Amen. And I say,
All right. Um, A lot to unpack in that video, but if you can just give us kind of a brief synopsis about what was going on there.
Yeah, so I was one of my favorite hiking spots, um, out in Hanging Rock. Um, and I was just trying to think of, what way could I shoot this video and really capture the meaning, of this video. So like you said, it was a lot of grounding energy. Um, so I hit up a collective of my friends, my homies, like, listen, I want to shoot this video. We gonna go on a hike. Don't wear nothing. Y'all are afraid to get messed up, you know. So, I just took people out there and we went on a hike and I had my cameraman, just come capture, some of those moments. We found very, intricate spots that we felt like would be good to, capture the essence of the words. I had my homegirl Erica Watts, who does a lot of like guided meditations, Reiki, massage therapy and stuff like that. So I called her and was like, listen, she did a guided meditation with everybody, while we were there. So it wasn't just for the video, like we used pieces of that, but we did that guided meditation. Um, then, we went on a hike, we went on a journey, some people were sweating, some people were panting, breathing, nonetheless, I wanted to have a real experience. I didn't want there to be a set or anything like that. We just captured, like what a hike, would look like, and yeah, I had like one of my homies come from Louisville. I had some people that like I was really close with, that I felt like, would enjoy this experience, but their energy would also be felt, with people watching it. A lot of people like that video.
That's real. And honestly, definitely had me thinking of sitting on the side of the Eno somewhere, feet on the pebbles and just taking it all in.
For
That's
sure.
that prana, right? Um,
Yeah.
okay. So let's see where we are on time. So my show is really short. It's like a lot shorter, I think, than it should be, but it's also Sunday. So
I'm here.
so you said you are a father to a lot of children, right? And
Hmm.
I personally don't believe in other people's children, meaning I have a responsibility to all the children
Hmm.
as an elder. As long as I'm an elder to a child in this community, they are my charge, right?
Right.
So, how has becoming a father changed your perspective or enhanced your perspective on that?
um it's definitely enhanced it. So I'll say, like at the beginning of the pandemic when I was creating that album, while a lot of my friends were out, in protest, um, I wasn't necessarily out there because, there was fear around, catching this disease, and bringing it home, so I still wanted to use one of my creative ways to give out that energy, you know. So really, just what enhanced to me was to continue to do. All right, so one of me and my homies that's in Hawaii right now, we were having a discussion about the impact we want to continue to have on young people. And I was like, essentially, because these kids are going to be the kids that our children come in contact with. Um, one of these young men could be my daughter's potential husband. Um, some of his sons, these people that, these young people that they come in contact with could be potential friends or influencers, so it's important to continue to have this impact and this influence, because we aren't just affected, by what's happening in proximity. We don't know the contact or the influence that we have in other places. So long as we have a good impact, long as we are making change in wonderful ways, then I don't have to be afraid of who my daughter or who my nieces or who my nephews are going to come in contact with, So they all, mine, and I feel a responsibility to make sure that they all feel something, you know, um, with that in mind.
That's powerful. One of the things I always like to say, especially to my son, is use your powers for good. You know what I mean? Especially if you know that you have an influence on people and people are going to follow you. You have a responsibility to send them in the right direction. So,
Hmm.
kudos to you for that. That's, I don't know, I'm feeling a little emotional over here, but trying to keep it together. So, when, and as you can see, the comments are like really everybody's feeling you right now. So
I love it.
take this energy with you and spread.
Well received.
Yeah, spread it in your communities and in your homes, y'all. So when I first went to the first soliloquies, you had a box. It was a vase. And you had this
Mm-hmm.
flowers in the vase moment where we were giving people their flowers. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember you saying we really didn't have to say it out loud who we were giving flowers to, but just visualize um, all
Mm-hmm.
the people you believe deserve some flowers. So I remember thinking about my mom and my dad and their impact on my life and my siblings and just, the people that really make me who I am and putting it in the box, so to speak, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where did you get that concept from? What brought that to mind?
It's crazy. I forgot I did that. Um, but sometimes it's about like the resources and proximity, that you have to people and things, right? So one of the resources that I had um was like this cloth with these flowers up there. I also had like these other flowers. So I was just trying to figure out what would I do, with this. So I set up an area and then I just figured, hey, because to the left of that display was an area that I created as a living room. And I had a TV set up, couch, and all of that. And then that space was a area where it was pictures of all of my family, with my cousins, my brother, my aunts, my uncle, telling the stories of them, so those different QR codes were there. So I was like, you know what? While I'm giving these flowers, I also want there to be a space where people can just, give flowers, to somebody. And even they don't even have to know you giving them the flowers. The energy and the intention behind it is what was important to me. And so I wanted to create that sacred space where people could do that, where they could have a time and a moment to think about someone that they might not have thought about or that they might not have given their flowers to. Um, and I'll just use somebody like Mama Love. For example, when I came to Greensboro, there was so much energy around who this wonderful and beautiful person was. And the more I got to experience her energy, I understood that much more, but I also like gained a higher level of respect and was like, you know what? I'm gonna give her flowers as well. One of my good friends, Morgan, we gave her flowers. We don't want to wait till people are old in age. We don't want to wait till they transition. People need to know that they are loved right now. So I felt like that was important, and I felt like even if they weren't letting somebody know directly, putting that energy out was important.
Yeah, yeah. That's so real. So then you released this song called Flowers in the Vase, and I was like, okay.
They don't connect, but
But you know.
yeah.
So, if my producer is ready to play that song, I would love for him to do so. Hold on one second.
I was such a nice looking kid.
Adorable, even. Here's the while he's working on that. There was someone in the comments. I don't know how to pronounce her name, but it looks like Tajia.
Oh, Tasia.
Tasia. I'm sorry about that. So how do people get in touch with her in regards to the mixer?
So if you go to the Carolina Artist Mixer on Instagram, if you follow that page, she's the one that's running that page. So any questions that you have about it, she'll definitely be able to answer for you and give you more information.
Good, and I did put that in the comments. So soliloquies, where is it located right now?
So right now it's at 114 South Main Street at Sabrina's Gallery on Main in High Point. Um,
Okay.
and I appreciate, Sabrina for sure because last year when I did it in her space, she didn't even know who I was. She didn't know like what I could pull off. She saw like a short video clip, which is sometimes I guess all you need. And then like we met each other and energy, was exchanged. But she believed in what I could pull off. And I think we blew each other's mind, you know, and we continue to build from there,
Oh,
so yeah.
that's peace. So when I went there last night, I had a chance to listen to a couple of your artists speak and a couple of poets. And one of the groups or people that resonated with me the most was Copper Vibrations. Now we're going to show Flowers in the Vase first, and
Okay,
then I want to talk a little bit about Copper Vibrations. So,
let's do it.
Jim, whenever you're ready, Jim, we can.
At Eversource, we know the role energy plays at the center of your life, warming your home, powering appliances,
Nah, let them
and
get that
keeping
ad
your
off.
lights on. And with
They trying
global
to get that
energy prices
money.
at all-time highs, we
Gotta
want to
bring
help.
sponsor up.
Working together, we can find a flexible payment plan or other assistance that you might qualify for. We want to find a way to manage your bill. Paid for by shareholders. Yeah. Look, hey, look. They claim they got their cure. I know you got some dreams, some fears. I know you got some pain, some tears, some happy meals and happy feels. Guns and knives and swords and spears. Water keep my flow so pure. My soul is in tune with the atmosphere. Already know what's gonna happen here. I've been around, I've been in sphere. I rotate, I switch my gears. I listen and hear beyond my ears. I smoke just to feel normal here. You hear this live, the check-in's cleared. I'm flying way beyond my years. I smell, I see, I sear. Until it's fire everywhere. I know money got you stagnant. I ain't saying that you ain't gotta have it, because me, I'm trying to stack it. I mean, lately I'm a magnet. I think money finds me attractive, but the key is to attract it. Find yourself all in that race, and on your face, you gon' lay flatly. I'm Olympic on that track list. If they test me for that package, tell them I smoke it back to backlit. Like a relay, no distraction. Grandma said my lips is blackening. Always gotta keep my chapstick, always gotta keep my lighter in my front hand, back hand. Hey yo, it's flowers in the vase, diamonds in the face. They grilling me. I show a smile that light up the whole place. I said there's flowers in the vase, diamonds in the face. I like to smile on Kino face, and when my cash app blank, I did my thing and left no trace. I leave my marks in outer space. You out of time like always. If you think that shit gon' wait, look, I ain't have to be no case. What's a beat without the bass? I ain't make the NBA, but I can ball on any day. Look, this shit blow my mind. Wait, I said I like the stargaze. I like to smoke without the ashtray and breathe without my mask, baby. This shit blow my mind. Wait, I set my alkaline straight. Trouble don't last always, but I keep these plays on replay as frequent flyer mileage. Simple but it's stylish though. Don't block my stacks on show. And please don't blow my high, just go. And don't you slam my fucking door. And I can never sell my soul on waves across the ocean shore. I'll just make the waves for sure. I shoot a shot, I swish, I score. And then I shoot some more. You feel me? Hey yo, I said I shoot a shot, I swish, I score. And then I shoot some more. You feel me? Hey look, it's flowers in the vase, diamonds in the face. They grilling me, is you grilling me? I said there's flowers in the vase, diamonds in the face. Is you grilling me? Hey yo, see what? Heavy, heavy.
A lot of love from the crowd. My man
Glad y'all like
Steven
that.
says, he said it sounds like a cross between Outcast and Goody Mob. I see how you can see that.
I can dig it.
A lot of flames, flowers in the vase. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Um, so we were about to talk about copper vibrations.
Yes, indeed.
Tell us a little about them.
Yeah. So we had an experience years ago called "We Are the Gold," where we brought David Banner. We had 40 vendors and 400 people. Um, and we met Copper Vibrations, there. And then I began to see them at other events. And just meeting their energy was intoxicating because, for one, they were a black couple that were working together in business. And then they just had this wealth of knowledge and information that at any moment they would share, at random. But if they develop this relationship with you, then you get an opportunity to get it anytime. Like I can pull up to their house and might intend to just be there for like 5, 10 minutes. But I'm there for like an hour and a half. Now when I pull up, I just turn my car off, but I mean, Juma, so he's like one of those people that like if I see it, I can probably create it. Not even probably. I can create it. I'm talking like Monier, his wife wanted this deck. So like he ain't hired nobody, he built it. He needed a computer for, to edit this film he was working on. He built it. He wanted a studio to record his own music. He built it. Um, but I was at, their spot one day and I saw this deck and I saw this fireplace. And I was like, yo, that looked like a stage. He like, it's look like a stage. Make it a stage. So he let me do like a live show there, and it was during the pandemic, while people weren't doing shows. So I did a live show there and sold like online tickets, but also 20 in-person tickets to people that wanted to come and sit around a fire, which is like incoincidental because I have an experience now called Fire for Therapy. But like I can say that was one of the seeds for that. But man, they are such a wealth of knowledge about life, about business and entrepreneurship, about relationships, about spirituality. You never know, what it is that you're going to get, when you sit around them, and be around their infectious energy. And they've allowed me and my brother into so many of their spaces. Um, what I like to let people know is like your wealth with people is sometimes much greater than what you can get with money because I've been able to get so many things without having to spend a dime, you know, um, and especially with them. Now we exchange resource, we got the best hydration in the nation. I go over there and drop off. They drop some knowledge on me. I might get some crystals, a necklace, a bracelet, a ring. I got, some of their stuff all over the place on my dresser here. It's some in my car, in my book bag. But man, they're a wonderful collective of people. So I'm loving to seeing their progress and us being able to share, energy, with each other in numerous ways. He's had some of his copper pieces in the exhibit because he just creates unique stuff. He had like a 4 foot that he did with copper and crystals. Um, he did this crazy Nipsey Hustle piece. And when I tell you, like I've seen people do dope stuff with copper, he had this Nipsey Hustle piece that had Nipsey's braids, that had his tattoos. Like, man, so they are really a true expression of what you can do if you put your mind to it. If that was a person, they are that.
Yeah. No, no, yeah, because uh I saw the scorpion piece, this gigantic scorpion, the dagger with the sheath and the crystals.
Yo, and
Y'all
it's a
got to
real
see it.
dagger though.
Exactly. So Copper Vibrations is located at Four Seasons Mall, but every event just about that I go to that T Walker has, he's rapping a piece as he's
Hmm.
speaking, and that's the part that really got me. He's so fast with his hands, and it's so intentional. So I just wanted to
Yeah,
shed a little light on that. Listen, my hour's already up. We're a little bit over time, and that's okay because this is a great show. I
for
would love
sure.
for you to tell the people where to find you, where they can find your work.
Hmm. I'm T Walker NC on everything from Snapchat to Cash App and everything in between. Um, my website is heavyenergyuniversity.com. That's where you can find my music. That's where you can find the clothing I design. That's where you can find, you can get live alkaline water. The Alkaline Festival is August 4th through the 6th. The first 2 years, we did it as one day. This year, we're going to extend it into 3 days. Those vendor spaces are now available. So if anybody wants to vend and be a part of the Alkaline Festival, it's on the land that the water is coming from. So you get to experience that mineral-based crystal body of land, yourself. Come out there, take your shoes off, get grounded. You feel me? Last year we had 7 food trucks and 40 vendors. So we're gonna make it happen this year. But yeah, those are the places you can find me. I'm Terrence Walker. Terrence with one R, no A on Instagram. Shout out my homegirl Sadia. Just see she tapped in. Um, But yeah, T Walker NC on everything from Snapchat to Cash App and everything in between. Terrence Walker on Facebook. HeavyEnergyUniversity.com is where you can find the website.
Thank you. So typically every week I end my show with saying how I will just live now or for good. So how would you just live?
I'm gonna continue to live. I will just live in my creative expression.
Absolutely. And I intend to just live by staying intentional, staying grounded, and keeping my temple pure. Thank you, everybody, for showing up today. We appreciate the love. Listen, anybody who wants to donate to the show, I'm dropping my Cash App in the chat. I don't know about you, but yeah, we do
For
take
sure.
donations to keep the system going. Thank you so much, T Walker. And
No doubt about it. Thank you for having me. I always appreciate your energy and your presence, when we're amongst each other, so I appreciate you having me on this show and allowing me to, share with people on your platform.
absolutely. I'm looking forward to performing at another live Alkaline Festival. Just
Hey,
putting
let's
that out
make it
there.
happen.
All right. Peace, family. Thank you, y'all. Have a great week.
Peace, peace.
All right. So I've already told you how I plan to just live. Going to take you out with a little bit of music. And y'all, don't forget to hit that like button. It keeps the content good and it keeps the show going. So it's all love. Have a great week, everybody.
I'm gonna get it together. I'm just being in love. 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 When I met you, I didn't care about love. Didn't think that I would ever fall in love. Didn't know that we were so compatible. Simple, letting go. Oh, what only now on the edge of heart. I met a man that tears apart. It tears apart. No, they don't know what it takes to be in love. They don't know what it takes to be in love. They don't know what it takes to be in love. Oh, we both know what it takes. We both know what it takes to be in love. They don't know what it takes. They don't know what it takes to be in love. They don't know what it takes to be in love. Oh, we both know what it takes. We both know what it takes to be in love. Gonna be in love. This is something I can't control it. How you feeling, I just can't call it. I just know how I feel inside. I got love on my mind. You know that I just adore you. And you know that I'll come before you. I just know how you feel inside. I got love on my mind. I'm just being in love. 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 I'm just being in love.